www.freedomslips.com. It is 10 p.m. Thursday evening, and we are here live on Studio A. Yeah, you've waited all week for the most cutting-edge topics and guests, and now it is time to deliver. That's right, it's the Stephen D. Kelley Show with your host, Stephen D. Kelley.
Oh my gosh, are we here? Are we live? Terry, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, I do hear you. I do hear you.
Okay, the commercials ended kind of quickly, and I thought, what happened? That sounded kind of weird. Yeah, that was weird. All right, let's get on with the show. Okay, this is the Stephen D. Kelley Show. Welcome. There's so many people out there that I want to say hi to real quick. Gosh, we got a lot of response prior to this show, as you know. We did the show last week on the Reiki or the Jedi training, and it was very popular. And we decided to come back and continue with this because everybody was really excited about it, and it really was amazing. We got quite a bit of response, but. So I'm going to get into it. I'm going to start with a little bit of review, but let me just do some station identification and all that business first. Okay, obviously this is the Stephen D. Kelley Show. I am Stephen D. Kelley. This is Revolution Radio at www.freedomslips.com. You are listening to Studio A. We are the world's #1 internet listener-supported internet radio station, and it's all because of you. You guys put us where we are today, and I'm very happy to be part of it and happy to be able to get my message out there to the world. So anyway, real quick, I'm gonna do a quick shout out to a few people I promised I was going to say hello to all my friends in the Keepers Guild, Ziva, Spartacus, Orange. Hope you're listening. If you're there, get back to work. Slay those monsters. Anyway, okay, thank you for that, everyone. Let's see, who else do I want to say hi to? Hi, Joan, if you're listening. Hi, Joan. Hi, Terry. Okay, anyway, I know there's thousands and thousands of you out there, and I wish I could say hello to everybody, but I'm very happy that you did choose to be with us and join us tonight. Anyway, all right, let me try not to waste too much time and get with it. Okay? All right, now, as you recall, last week we did Jedi 101, which was Reiki training, beginning a Reiki primer. And as in a quick review, I just want to say that the reason why we're doing this is because we report on a lot of negativity, and there's a lot of horrible things going on in the world right now. I mean, obviously, if you know me, you know that I'm basically telling you don't pay your taxes. Resist anarchy. It's time to revolt. All right. And people think, oh my God, watch what you say. But you know what? They're not going to do anything about it. I mean, if I go down, everybody goes down. So I have no fear. Anyway, I hope everyone else out there feels the same way. But the reason why we are doing what we're doing today is because this is the true power. And if you don't believe in magic, or you don't believe that humans have the ability to do these incredible things, then you're way behind the curve. And this is nothing. This is not spooky. This is not woo-woo. This is quantum physics. This is real stuff. And all of us someday will be able to reach the point to where we will be able to do these incredible things, and we won't think anything of it. It is fast approaching, and this is why it's very important for all of us to get out there and do what we can to to do the work and to improve ourselves. Okay. Anyway, all right. So hopefully I can do this without getting too distracted, and I don't want to waste too much time, but I'm going to do a real quick review of what we covered last week for anybody that was not here. Basically what we did is we discussed the 5 Reiki principles, the 9 abilities to developing psychic skill, and Christian Reiki. Okay, so right now I'm just going to go over the 5 principles real quick and the 9 abilities. I'm not going to go too in depth, but I just want to remind everybody that if you want to be a Jedi, and if you want to develop your psychic powers and your psychic skills, and you would like to be able to dog's getting crazy over here, get in a position where you're going to be able to help the world and help your neighbors and help your family with the gifts that God gave you, then this is the start. But in order to do that, you are going to have to make what some people would call sacrifices. All right, Henry, stop it. Okay, Henry, sorry about that. Henry just attacked Emily. Emily, move over. Pardon me. Okay, now again, we live in a material world, in a capitalist society, and it is very difficult to develop your spirituality and your psychic skills without having to give up a lot of these things. And of course, for a lot of people, this is going to seem like a major sacrifice, and yes, it is, because if you really want to achieve these skills, you're going to have sacrifice is part of it. And if any of us know, I know Terry, you know quite well, is that to do what we do and to get to where we are, to be able to do what we do and have the power to reach out and influence people like we do, we had to have massive sacrifice. We had to lose almost everything, and that's part of the program. So, in this society, it's really, really difficult to do. And a lot of times it's not just material stuff, but it is daily stresses and things that happens every day. I know that this is hard for people to understand, but essentially you've got to forget about yesterday. You got to stop worrying about what's going on right now, and you got to stop worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow. So, again, the 5 Reiki principles. Number 1, just for today, I will not be angry. Number 2, just for today, I will not worry. Number 3, just for today, I will be grateful. Number 4, just for today, I will do my work honestly. And number 5, just for today, I will be kind to every living thing. Okay? All right. Again, I'm not going to go into that, but if you need any more further instructions, you can contact me, and we'll talk. Oh, by the way, I should mention real quick, if you want to contact me, my email is law17gun. That's law17gun at AOL.com. All right. Also, my Facebook page, if you go to Facebook, send me a friend request to Stephen D. Kelley. Also, I have a Facebook page for the Stephen D. Kelley Show. Go ahead and connect to that too, if you would, please. Hit the like button. Also, Revolution Radio has a Facebook page, and I would very much like you to join that. If you have not done it yet, go to Facebook and do a search for either Revolution Radio or Freedom Slips, and it will pop up. And all you got to do is hit the like button, and that's it. And then you'll get our little advertising on your page. Well, when I say advertising, you'll just get announcements for the shows. Okay. Now, again, it's not the easiest thing to do to teach Reiki or quantum physics like that over a radio program, because there's so much material that is easier to disseminate when you're using diagrams and images and what have you. And I have my textbook that I use in my Reiki course here in front of me, and I'm kind of flipping through pages, and the first 20 pages are just nothing but diagrams and images. Everything from Tesla to auras and human chakras and things like that. So let's see what I can do today to teach you guys some Reiki. All right. Now, we mentioned before that obviously Reiki, of course, was started in Japan by Master Usi, who is the original Reiki master. But the thing is that this is not an invention that just came out of nowhere, less than 100 years ago. This has been around forever, and in different cultures they do this, and they call it by different names. The ability for humans to use their natural energy or intention to heal or do anything else, manifest, is certainly a power that we all have. But of course, the powers that be would do everything they can to try to minimize our ability to understand or realize these gifts, because those are the gifts that we will use to change the timeline, to rewrite the reality that we're on, and to remove the evil from the world and make this place a better place. So, not the easiest thing to do, but we're going to do our best. But okay, so in other words, Reiki, of course, is Asian. It's Asian, and so as a result, they use terms like chi. Okay, chi, chi. Chi is actually just an Asian term or Chinese term for energy, cosmic energy, whatever it is that you want to call it. Different cultures use different names to describe this energy. But for the chi is a nice word because it's just one syllable. It's only 3 letters, and it works really well. So for the sake of brevity, I will whenever I discuss human energy or this cosmic energy, whatever it is, we're going to refer to it as chi. Now, in the Hindu cultures or the Indian subcontinent, obviously that is a very ancient culture in itself, and this, of course, is much older than the Hindu religion per se. But over there, they call it prana or pranic healing, pranic, pranic healing, and they refer to the chi energy as prana, prana, prana. But it is the same thing. It really is the same thing. Now, gosh, it's really hard because this is such a complex subject, and I'm going to try to do my best. But obviously, we're talking about we're talking about probably one of the most basic concepts of the universe, and this is definitely something that humans need to develop an understanding of and ability to manipulate in order for us to move forward in our as a society and as a species. And certainly this is something that we're going to do, and this is something that I would like to see happen at a very fast pace, because the more of us that are able to wake up and utilize our God-given gifts, the quicker we will be able to defeat the dark side and bring about the transition that so many of us are anxious for. So, only 15 minutes into the show. Here we go. Oh, all right. All right. Let me just see if I can wing this here. Okay. Now, energy or cosmic energy. All right. Let me just start at the beginning. Again, a lot of the terminology that we're going to use and a lot of what we're talking about with respect to this energy healing and whatnot is rooted in cultures that are not necessarily Western in nature. So those of us here in America and Western civilization, we tend to look down on these as pagan and what have you, and nonsense and everything else. Okay, this is not true. There's certainly much more to this than we can understand. Now, from a scientific aspect, so many people will, we have a system, an education system set up to where people will go into a school or a university, colleges, whatever, and they will be given rote memorization exercises and tested, and they graduate on their ability to pass tests. And the knowledge that is disseminated is very, very much a human knowledge, and it is set up in such a way that when a person graduates, they are given the impression that they know everything, and there's nothing else that they can learn. So what this means is that the people who tend to go to college, graduate from college, by the time they graduate, they've been indoctrinated to have incredibly closed minds, and there's nothing that you can tell them because they think if they did not learn this in college, that it's not real. But the bottom line is that if you are one of those people and you start doing that, you have shut off, you are not learning, and the minute you think you know everything, you need to go back to square one and completely start over, because there is no end to learning. We never learn anything. Enlightenment requires constantly accessing information and constantly bringing it in. We're never going to reach that point. In fact, information is like a puzzle. The more puzzle pieces that you can gather, the easier it is to see what the final result of the puzzle is going to be. Although most of us will never complete the puzzle, and we will never gather all the pieces in our lifetimes. But after a while, we can gather enough pieces to where we can get a pretty good idea of what it is that we're looking at. So this is what we are constantly trying to do. Wow. All right. Okay. Now, real quick, as I give myself a little breather, I'm going to give out the phone number for the call-in. We take calls at the second hour, but I'm going to give out the number right now. It's 347-688-2902. And by the second hour, you guys can call in and give me a bit of a break, because I don't know if, obviously, going for 2 hours straight talking is not the easiest thing to do. All right. Oh, as I go through I'm looking through my Reiki book here. All right, most of Reiki is essentially it's hand movements, and we use our hands to direct the energy. And I'm going to give you a few exercises real quick right now. So if you're listening, you can actually do this right now. Okay, so let's just start right now. Okay, some basic energy work. All right, now energy travels. Oh gosh, it's going in every direction. We're swimming in a sea of energy. But if you think of energy, think of it like rays coming from the sun. Now, obviously, when sunlight comes to us, it's coming from so far away. Obviously, the sun is a big ball, but when the rays, the energy hits us from the sun, it's traveling in a nice straight line, and we refer to that as coherent light. In other words, all the rays are coming at us in a nice parallel fashion. Obviously, the reality of that is that there is a spherical nature or a dispersion to the light, but the reality is because the sun is so large in comparison to the size of the earth, to us that energy seems completely parallel and coherent, very much like a laser. Now when the energy travels at us, if you imagine a line almost like a ray, think of a line like imagine an e-beam, electron beam coming at you like a laser, but the laser is only maybe a few atoms in diameter, if you will, something like that. Now, this is sort of like what energy is like to describe it to you. But when it travels, it's actually traveling in a helix or a spiral, okay? And if you try to understand what this is, think of it in terms of a vortex. Well, obviously it is a vortex, but if you imagine taking a vortex or a tornado, and if you were to stretch it out a million miles or several hundred thousand miles, you'd get a long, skinny spiral line. But anyway, that's how the energy travels. Oh God, dog's back in. Dog, get over here! I got to tie the dog up. Damn it. Jeez. All right. Now I got to break the show while I tie up the dog. God. All right. Dog is secure. All right. Max will be calling you later. Okay. All right. Now, the thing about energy is that there is a masculine energy and a female energy. Now, a lot of times people will look at this and one is a negative and one is a positive, but that does not mean one is bad and one is good. Okay, so we have to stop. Part of what we're doing here is we have to change the way we think, and in order to do that, we have to stop using concepts like good and evil. Okay, the good guys and the bad guys. All right, so if we talk about the bad guys, we'll call them less than loving. We're not going to call them evil. We're going to call them less than loving. We'll say the good guys are very loving and the bad guys are less loving. All right, so this is not a label. This is not a judgment. Okay, we have to avoid that because this is enlightenment requires that. All right, now again, back to the male and female aspect, positive and negative. When you look at positive and negative, that's one is not good and one is not bad. It's like a battery. There's a negative side and a positive side. The negative side of the battery is not the bad side. The positive side of the battery is not the good side. That's just the way it is. It's a movement. One goes towards the other. The negative always goes towards the positive, or the positive always goes towards the negative. Sorry, that's the way it is. It's the same way with electricity. It's just how things move. Okay, so this is very important to understand that there's nothing evil about it. But by the same token, we are going to suggest that energy that's coming upward, which we refer to as the female energy, has negative, can have a negative effect per se. And when we say negative, it's, again, think of it in terms of polarity, not in terms of black and white or good and bad. Okay, this is a polarity thing. Okay. For instance, when we think of negative energy, you can think of a full moon. When we're in a full moon phase, we're getting massive amounts of female energy. What's really happening is the male energy coming from the sun is reflecting off of the moon and is being converted into female energy. And what happens during a full moon? People act kind of funny. Women tend to enter into their cycles. Estrogen levels go way up. People can act a little nutty or a little bitchy, if you will. That is the female energy. That's just the way it is. Okay, not a bad thing. It's just the way it is. Now, in Reiki, we utilize the male and the female energy, but healing energy is primarily male energy. All right, now let me just explain that. What that means is energy travels through the body. We have a chakra system or a plumbing system. Imagine, if you will, it goes up and down our spine. Okay, think of your spine as a conduit. All right, not necessarily the spine per se, but the from the bottom of your spine to the top of your skull, that is the conduit. That is where the energy flows through. It comes in through the top at your crown chakra and exits out the bottom through your root chakra. Female energy comes up through the earth, enters through the root chakra, and exits through the crown chakra. We have 7 basic chakras. There's actually many more, but there's 7 basic chakras, and they are crown, mouth, throat, heart, solar plexus, stomach, and crotch. I believe those are the 7 chakras. If I got that right, you guys can call me up and correct me. And of course, the 7 chakras have corresponding colors, and this is actually very important. But at the same time, also it's something that we can observe, but we may never understand it. We need to observe it. Now. And I know I'm going off in a couple different directions here, but I need to throw this out there. The chakra system is basically color-coded. It's like a rainbow, if you will. And the highest levels of this are the violet colors, if you will. And your crown is typically the violet. And this is what we call the highest vibration. Okay, and then the lower vibration, or the lowest chakra, the root chakra, is actually red. Okay, and that is a different thing. Okay, now some physics real quick here. On the electromagnetic spectrum, which is essentially a big long yardstick representing all of the energy that we deal with here on this reality that we call our third density. We have everything from microwaves to TV signals to sound to color to light, you name it. Every bit of energy that manifests is on the electromagnetic spectrum. And the electromagnetic spectrum goes down to 0, which is infinity, and goes up to infinity. And if you don't understand the concept of a 0 infinity, it's very simple. Just get down to 1 and divide it in half, and keep dividing until you get down to infinite divisions, and that is 0 infinity. So male energy comes down from the cosmos, goes through your crown chakra and out the root chakra into the earth. Female energy comes up from the earth, goes through your root chakra, travels up to your body, and goes out of your crown chakra. Male energy, as it travels down, circulates in a clockwise pattern. Okay, so it goes down and circular in a clockwise pattern. Female energy goes upwards and circulates in a counterclockwise pattern. They travel along the same axis always. Male and female energy always travels on the same axis. So what is actually being created is a double helix. This is very important. If you look at a DNA helix, you will see that there are 2 spirals that are intertwined, a counterclockwise spiral and a clockwise spiral. And a clockwise spiral or a clockwise helix is not an upside down counterclockwise helix. It doesn't work that way. They are unique. Anyway, they fit together and they create the DNA helix. When the reason why the DNA is shaped in a helix is because it is an antenna. Okay, the energy that travels through our body from the universe, from the earth, the male and the female energy that's traveling through our body, it actually provides information to the DNA. It is the source. Actually, it comes from source. If you want to say God, God, the creator, is source. And God, the creator, is also the source of all energy and all information. Another point that's very important to understand is that when energy goes in one direction, information travels in the opposite direction. Okay, so information and energy always move hand in hand. Wherever there is energy, there's also information. Now, when we say information, what does that mean? Okay, information can be conveyed in a sine wave. What is a sine wave? A sine wave is a squiggle. If you've done your math, you've done your trigonometry or your geometry, you should know what a sine wave is. But essentially, it is an S on its side. The loop that starts at 0 and goes to 1, it goes up, then it goes down, it goes through the middle, it goes down, and then back up again to 1. That 0 to 1 is called a phase. Okay, very important also because we'll talk about phase shifting. So the shape of that sine wave can deviate from a simple perfect curve to almost any possible, an infinite amount of shapes using amplitude or frequency modulation, or like an AM and FM signal. If you look at an AM and FM signal that's traveling through the airwaves, what is it? It's a sine wave that has been given a certain shape to convey the information of the sound that's being recorded. It's the exact same thing as a sound wave. When you speak, the wave that comes out of your mouth is a sine wave that has a specific shape, and the specific shape of that sound wave carries the information or the words that you are saying. So it is a way of looking at all information as in a digital format. And the reality is that every single possible thing in the universe can be identified and duplicated by using the information contained in the sine wave of that specific object. Okay, so even a human being with all of our complexities can be defined by a specific sine wave. This is also very important because every human on this earth, every human that was ever alive, every human that is yet to be born, will have a specific identifying sine wave. And that is important because when we do Reiki, when we're doing healing, we have the ability to use this energy and have it transmit anywhere in the world instantaneously, and we can zero in on a specific person because if we are given proper information, such as an image to look at of what that person looks like, or some sort of a DNA sample, like a hair sample or something of this nature, that is enough information for us to locate that person anywhere on the globe and to be able to transmit our human energy to that person faster than the speed of light. That is what healing is all about. Okay, let's talk about Reiki healing a little bit. Now, as I said, everyone has a unique sine wave. If you are having an illness or something is wrong, something is broken, something has deviated from perfect, what that means is that illness or that deviation from perfect can be represented on your sine wave. So in other words, your sine wave or your specific signal is going to be altered accordingly according to the problem or the ailment that you're having. So I'm going to discuss how Reiki treats the sine wave, adjusts the sine wave, and can correct it. There's actually about 3 different methods for doing this that we use in Reiki, and I want to address all 3 of those things, but I should also mention that this concept of altering your sine wave and causing a sickness or some malady to come into your life, very often these diseases or maladies or sicknesses or whatever, they will manifest in your aura or your energy field prior to becoming a physical manifestation in your body, which means that it's very important that you be careful about the people that you're around and who you get close to, because you can pollute your energy field with garbage from those other people. Very, very difficult, but very important to understand. When you choose a partner, obviously, I know women, certainly women during sex, they are actually taking in DNA and energy from the man, and that stays there forever. So you need to be aware of who you're going to be with, because you're mixing your energy, you're taking that in, you are going to actually alter your aura and your life as a result of these people that you bring close to you. So there is a saying that we use in Reiki or metaphysics, and that is that energy will always seek the highest vibration. Okay, now what that means is that when we are healing or when we're sending energy to somebody, you can't hurt somebody. You can't send them negative energy. You have to your signal that you send will always deliver the highest vibration. And again, it's not a vibration. Okay, when a sine wave is going up and down, okay, and these are called amplitude. When sine wave goes up, that's an amplitude. When it goes back and forth through the middle line, those are frequencies. Okay, so the number of times it goes through the line, that's the frequency, and the height that the peaks of these waves, those are the amplitudes. But the point is that, and of course I lost my train of thought. But all right, let me see if I can get it together here. Hang on. This is live radio. Okay. All right, well, let's just talk about the healing process. All right, now, as I've mentioned, when we do Reiki, one of the things we're doing is we treat the aura. Okay, one of the first things we do is we treat the aura. We also try to recalibrate the person's sine wave. So, in other words, let's start with the aura first. One of the things that we do with our hands is we take the energy from our hands. Oh, I know I was going to talk to you about energy, and I should probably do that first. Yeah, okay, let me do that first. Okay. All right, the male energy, as I mentioned, goes downwards and travels in a clockwise pattern, which means that if you are a man or a male species, your male energy is going to be stronger than your female energy. That's typical. Obviously, women are stronger in the female energy. This is normal. If you want to achieve enlightenment, it's necessary to have equal amounts of male and female energy. Obviously, this is very difficult to achieve. This is why men look for women. We look for partners, and we try to find partners that have complementary amounts of energy. So if I have a lot of masculine energy, I'm going to look for a woman that has a lot of feminine energy and has a good balance to me. All right, because during coupling, if you will, there is an energy exchange. And this is what Tantra is. Tantra is the same thing, but when the energy is exchanged during a coupling, a circular circuit is created, and what happens is this allows for the energy to become very, very strong, and it's also very good for cleaning out the body. But okay, some quick exercises. Okay, what I want everybody to do, okay, if you're listening here now, men, hold up your left hand. All right, women, hold up your right hand. All right, now, men, the energy comes out of your left hand and goes in your right hand. Woman, the energy comes out of your right hand and goes in your left hand. Okay? So think about this. When we are passing energy through our hands, this is how we're doing it. All right? So Now, the energy field that we're in is very much like an ocean. All right, we're swimming in a sea of energies all around us. All right, visualization is very, very important, and that is the visualization is actually the third part of the healing process. There's the aura cleansing, there's sine wave recalibration, and then there's the visualization process, which I will discuss. But visualization is very, very important. It's godlike. All right. And I'm not suggesting that by doing this that you're becoming equal to God, because this is a gift from God. Everything that we do is a gift, and we need to recognize that our ability to do these things is only because the Creator gave us these gifts. We are not special. We are all the same, and we are all children of the Creator, or we all come from Source. We all have these gifts, and we all do this in the name of the Creator. That's what we do. We don't take credit. We are just the conduit. We are the channel. All right. Now, when you think of moving energy, think of the air around you, okay? Because the air is a great way to visualize and understand the concept of moving energy. So, inhale. Okay, this is what I want everybody to do. Okay, men and women, think about this. Everybody is going to take a deep breath, and they're going to inhale. And then when they exhale, you are going to visualize that when you are pushing the air out of your lungs, that is actually traveling down your arm and out of the palm of your hand. Okay? Now, when I say palm of your hand, imagine you're having your palm open and you're pointing it at somebody. The energy is actually coming out of the lower portion of your palm. It's coming straight out of your arm and through your palm. You visualize this. The way that you move the energy is through visualization. You must visually imagine and see the energy moving, and you will feel it, because this is how it works. Now, now take your hands and hold them together with just a few inches apart. Okay, now if you're in Europe, what is that? That's going to be about, I don't know, 100 centimeters, maybe 50 centimeters apart, if that, okay? So hold your hands just a little bit apart. Now move your hands closer together, your palms closer together, your fingers outstretched, but don't touch, but just kind of move it back and forth, closing closer and then back out, closer then back out. You're going to feel a magnetic field. Everybody has this. You will feel this. Everybody try this. You're going to feel a magnetic field. I mean, I'm doing it right now, and I can totally feel it. So, and I know you people can feel it too. Now, this is what you do. All right, now hold your hands together like that, but keep some space between it, okay? Oh, about finger length between your palms, all right? Now, everyone inhale, and when you exhale, men, you're going to blow the energy out of your left hand, and women, you're going to blow the energy out of your right hand. And then when you inhale, you're going to suck the energy in through the opposite hand. Okay, so men, you're going to exhale through your left hand and inhale through your right hand. Women, you're going to push the energy out of your right hand and into your left hand. This is like a pump. This is very, very much like you're pumping water. Okay, remember, energy is like water. It's like a sea. Imagine it's like water. Electricity is very much like water. When we talk about amperage and flow of electricity, it's almost exactly the same concept as water flowing. This is so important. We talked about Victor Schauberger, who is a master of fluid dynamics. Well, Victor Schauberger and his understanding of fluid dynamics allowed him to master the concepts of energy and understand the concepts of vortex motion. So this is great because energy is very fluid, and it follows the fluid dynamics. So if you are into fluid dynamics, you're a long ways to understanding what we're doing. All right, everybody, let's practice this. So breathe out, breathe in. Breathe out, breathe in. Push the energy, pull the energy. Keep doing that. Now, what's going to happen is as you keep doing this, eventually the energy will flow by itself. Once the pump is primed, it will flow by itself. You don't have to keep pushing it with your breath. This is the practice. This is what we do. Okay? So this is what everyone needs to do, is practice with their hands and practice moving that energy. Remember, if women, you're using your right hand to push, men, you're using your left hand to push. Okay? Now, as I said earlier, Reiki uses male energy. So that is the energy that is moving downwards. Okay, this is the same thing as pranic healing. It's the same thing. It's moving down. It's coming from God. It's coming from source. It's coming through your top of your head, through your body, and out your hands. All right? And then it travels in a nice circular pattern. All right? So this is something that everyone needs to practice doing. Okay? But it's so easy to do. And you can practice this with if you have someone with you, try it. You know, there's, like, for instance, there are exercises that we do, heart chakra exercises that require two people, where you will place, the man will place his left hand over his heart and his right hand over the heart of the woman, and the woman will place her right hand on the man's heart and her left hand over the man's hand. Okay, that is again, that's kind of hard to visualize, but that is your basic heart chakra exercise. This is how, as a couple, we move energy to each other. Well, this is how we can move energy to each other without having sex, but this is one of the basic maneuvers. But again, all right. So basic Reiki treatment. Again, I'm going to talk about the basic energy stuff. There's other aspects, like, for instance, there's symbology and things that we use. We'll get into that, but right now we don't need to worry about the symbology, because we're going to focus on the energy. So when we're treating a person, typically Reiki treatment involves having a person. It will be laying on a table, like a massage table, in front of you. Typically, I will have the person laying face up. I do massage therapy. I also do reflexology, as well as a couple other things. And so, if you have a massage table, you can treat the person. You can rub their hands, you rub their feet, you give them a massage. You can do all this, and you can finish up with a Reiki treatment. They don't even have to know. As far as they know, they're just getting a massage, but you're healing whatever it is that ails them. But anyway, so you've got the person on the table. All right. Now, if you want to study this thing, there's lots of books out there. One of the easiest, simplest books out there, of course, is Reiki for Dummies. It costs about $9 on Amazon. Go ahead and grab that if you want. There's a lot of other books out there that are good, but I don't really want to push other people's books, because I'm not into making money for other people. But suffice to say, you can learn quite a bit from just reading up on this stuff by yourself. Now, so when we have our person, we have the person that we're treating on the table. All right. Typically, the first thing that we'll do is we will cleanse the room. Okay. Whatever negative energy is in the room that we're doing the work in, we want to cleanse the room. Lots of ways that you can cleanse the room. Some people, they use sage. They burn a sage. They smudge. That works, but it's only so effective. Holy water works really good. I've actually been able to use holy water where I've been in situations where places were filled with just ridiculous amounts of negative energy, and the sage didn't do it. So I brought in the holy water, and the holy water worked really good. So no matter what you feel about holy water in the churches and what have you, it works. Okay. So it's definitely something to have in your home. All right, now when we do the cleansing, we use the first basic symbol of Reiki, which is called the Chaku Rei. All right, now let me see if I can spell this for everybody, because I want you to look it up. Of course, I don't have it in front of me. I can find. Oh, here it is. Okay, Chaku Rei. All right, everybody, Google this after the show. But right now, I want you just to write it down. Okay, get your pen and paper. All right, hurry up. Go get it. You got it? Everybody got your pen and paper? I'll wait another minute, maybe 30 seconds. Okay. I'll repeat this later if you don't have it, but You got to write this down because you're going to Google this stuff and you're going to look it up, and you get these symbols in front of you and you can start using them right away. Anyway, okay. Shakure, Chokure. It's the first word, C-H-O, Cho. Second word, Ku, K-U. Third word, Rei, R-E-I, Chokure. Okay, the Chokure is the first symbol. It is also referred to as the power symbol. It focuses energy. It connects us to the earth. It purifies physical or visible objects such as parts of the body or inanimate objects, and it adds power when used alongside other symbols. Okay, now there's nothing magic about this. The reason why it works is because of intention. Intention, our desire to do something, is an intention. In this case, it is our desire to heal somebody. We have intention to heal somebody, so we are healing them with intention. Okay? If you want to look up Western medicine's explanation for Reiki, they call it healing with intention. And if you think this is a bunch of garbage, you need to do some research because Western medicine is now accepting Reiki. And if you go into a hospital, in fact, here in Los Angeles, the most prestigious hospital you can go to in Los Angeles, which is, let me see, what is it? Oh gosh, it's a Jewish hospital. I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, it's the big hospital where all the rich people go here in Los Angeles. But they actually have Reiki masters in the operating room because they have discovered that having that person doing Reiki in the operating room during the procedure, sending energy, or as they call beaming energy, actually will cause the patient to heal faster, and it will actually cause the pharmaceuticals or the medications to work better. Okay? So, bottom line, this is not voodoo. This is accepted, and it is becoming shown to be science. Just because it is Eastern in nature and uses lots of funny Eastern words like chi and what have you, it does not make it any less scientific. This is the future. All right? Humans are extremely powerful, and exercises like this are what we do to realize that power. Okay, anyway, Choku Rei. Now the Choku Rei, it looks like a number 7. So basically what you do is when you create these images, or not these images, but when you are using a symbol, what you do is you actually take your finger, your index finger, and you point it in the air in front of you, and you actually draw the symbol in the air using your finger. And people think, well, what the hell is that? Well, that's sort of like, imagine a magician going, with his magic wand, twirling the magic wand, going abracadabra. Okay, there is a reason for that. Yes, it is magic. That is how magic works. Dr. Emoto, one of the most incredible humans that ever lived, who just died recently, he basically taught us that the entire universe is based on 2 things: motion and intention. Everything is based on motion and intention. Life is started with motion and intention. All right, now that's hard to explain, but just bear with me. Okay, so when I take my finger and I draw this symbol of the Choku Rei in the air, I am using motion, the motion of my finger, to draw an image that has intention attached to it. That is what is going on. Motion and intention. Okay? So, again, the Shoku Rei, what it looks like is if you were to take a number 7, you start at the top of the 7, you take your finger and you go horizontally to the right, then straight down, and then you go in a spiral counterclockwise that closes inward and stops in the center. So you draw a 7, you go sideways, straight down, and then a spiral into the center. That is a Choku Rei. That is the first symbol of Reiki. Look it up, print it out, save it, write it down, get used to it. What do you do with the Choku-rei? All right, we're talking about cleansing. You take that Choku-rei, you take your finger, you walk into the room, and you point your finger in the corners of the ceiling. All right, every corner of the room up towards the ceiling, and you point your finger up in that corner of the room, and you draw that symbol, and you say Choku-rei, and you turn to the other corner, you say Choku-rei, and you do that 4 times for every corner of the room. Why do you do that? Negative entities are basically floating in the upper corners of the room. You think that's nuts? If you've ever seen it, if you ever known anybody that's died, okay, I'll give you an example. My grandmother, when she died at 93. I used to spend a lot of time with her, visiting her in the home where she was up until the time. But right before you die, you see your old friends and relatives who are passed, and they all visit you, and they come and they escort you. And if you don't believe it, it's the fact, because I've seen it over and over and over. But I remember my grandmother, she looked up in the corners of the room, and she said, "Oh, there's so and so, there's so and so, there's Aunt so and so, and all these different relatives who I knew were dead, and they were all there." Okay, but if you want to know, heaven is about 3 feet off the ground. Okay, so they're just above us. They're just floating around up there, and that's where they hang out, up in the upper corners of the room. So when you want to cleanse a room, that's what you do. You point it up in those upper corners, because that's where the negative energy is going to be. All right, that is the first symbol. Oh, you guys are going to have to look it up. Anyway, all right, so now I've cleansed the room. I've done my Choku-rei in the 4 corners of the room. All right. Now, the symbols are primarily used in distance healing, and not so much when you're doing the hands-on stuff. But even when you're doing hands-on stuff, we typically do use the Choku-rei on the person themselves. Okay, I just noticed there's about 6 minutes till the top of the hour, so we're going to be hearing music within about 60 seconds or so. So I want to remind everybody, this is the Stephen D. Kelley Show on Revolution Radio, www.freedomslips.com. I want to remind everybody also that we do need your donations, so if you can, please go to our site support button on our main page. On the left side of the page, there's going to be a button that says Donate. That's where you go. Click on that. Use your credit card, your PayPal, whatever you can do to help us out, keep us on the air. Please go to it. If you want to call in after we come back from break, where is the number? The number is 347-688-2902. If you'd like to call in using Skype, the station Skype is Freedom Screen. And also, if you'd like, you can call in by connecting to the producer, which is Terry Joyce, through Skype. And her Skype is Freedom of Joyce. One word, Freedom of Joyce. So if you guys can join us if you want to do that. Anyway, all right. Wow, we don't have a whole lot of time before the end of the first half, so there's not a whole lot I can say to you before the music starts. I wanted to get back into a basic Reiki treatment. Again, there's the radio, or there's the music. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mute, and we will be back in 5 minutes. So everybody stay with us, and be right back.
Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message.
This is Thomas, a.k.a. a Mad Painter. I'd like you to join me Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Open Canvas. Don't forget to bring an open mind.
Yes, folks, that's right. Bring an open mind to an open canvas. Again, that is Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern. UFOs to government corruption. This is Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. You don't need to expect us. We're already here.
Imagine Just imagine.
Imagine a world
where every child and adult will have the opportunity to achieve their dreams.
I believe my inspiration is the answer.
My inspiration is the greatest light.
The greatest energy.
It was born when the universe was sparked into life.
It's within everything.
My inspiration transforms pain into happiness.
And failure into success.
My inspiration inspires lives.
It inspires lives.
It inspires human lives.
My inspiration is always shining like the sun.
But it doesn't mean that it's alive.
For centuries, my inspiration was in prison.
In prison.
In prison.
It doesn't belong there.
Its home is to be known to all people.
My inspiration is in trouble.
We are fighting for its life right now.
Right this moment.
This moment.
Millions all over the world want to go beyond their limitations.
Liberate their dreams and reach success. The failure of us all to be someone
is the biggest disease
of all time.
Each day our brothers and sisters die.
Please help us to birth this inspiration to life.
And that will stop this disease.
Help us get the word out of our inspiration.
Help us.
Help us.
It's our shared belief for a better future beyond the horizon. Let's write the future.
Heroism is here.
Stand up and grasp it.
Stand up.
Stand up and grasp it.
Stand up.
Stand up.
Stand up.
Stand up for the dreams of all people.
This is Nighthawk from Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. And now it's your time to stand up and make a difference or fade away. Fade.
Transcending time and space, let us take you to the place inside your mind where thoughts divide and mysteries unwind. Join us every Monday evening right here on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And you will catch the Fenton Perspective with our great host, Lorian Fenton. Come listen in as she shares her amazing stories from the past to present, along with all of her guest secrets to the future. That's the Fenton Perspective every Monday evening right here from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, only on Revolution Radio. Oh, and you don't need to expect us. We're already here.
Did you ever feel that things were not quite right? That everything was just ever so slightly askew?
Do you have, to paraphrase Morpheus, a splinter in your mind?
If you're interested in hearing the latest information about UFOs, the paranormal,
ancient cultures and structures,
monatomic elements,
longevity,
fantastic discoveries in science,
downloaded to your brain,
then tune into us. Hi, I'm Dave.
And I'm Mackie.
And we are Shiny Side Out, Sundays 2 to 4 a.m. Eastern. See you then.
Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. You don't need to expect us. We're already here. The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and freedomslips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
Oh, I would help if I unmuted my microphone. Jeez. I'm sitting here going da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, wait a minute. It's not stopping. Okay. All right, I'm back. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Stephen D. Kelley Show. I am still the host of this show. My name is Stephen D. Kelley. You are still listening to Revolution Radio on www.freedomslips.com, and we still need your donations, so if you can help us out, please do. Go to our site support button at the left side of our homepage at www.freedomslips.com. Let's see what else. Okay. Tonight's show is Jedi 101 Part 2. Anyway, I was, just before the break, I was getting into a treatment, but I realized that I need to talk a little bit more about visualization, okay, because this is so important. This is a godlike skill. When you're a musician and you hear music in your head and you write down those notes and you create a song, either lyrics or music in your head, you are using the power of creation and visualization. When you are an artist and you imagine a painting or a sculpture or something and you do it in your head before a brush ever touches a canvas or before your hands ever touch the clay or the stone or whatever, you are seeing an image in your mind of what it is that is going to be done, how the finished piece is going to look. And you are creating it, and you are doing every step in your brain. And this is creation, this is creativity, and this is a godlike. This is as close as humans ever get to being godlike. This is the power of creation, and humans have this skill. We have this power. It is an extremely important skill, and we all need to use it, and we need to expand it because it's the answer to everything. Okay, so visualization. When you are moving energy, you are visualizing it. You are seeing it. You are feeling it. You are making it happen through the power of your imagination. Your brain is what is making it work. All right? When you are working on a human and you are doing distance healing, you are connecting to that person through visualization. Okay? This is why when I do Reiki on somebody, I want a photo. Okay? I want a picture of that person. Because a photo of that person, and I don't care if the person is alive or dead or what, because this is retroactive. Seriously, believe it or not, this is retroactive. You can work in there. Remember, Reiki energy, there is no time. It's faster than the speed of light, and it has no time. And when there is no time, that means it is retroactive and it is applied to the future. But enough of that. Let's get back to visualization. When I'm working on somebody and I see their picture, that image of that face in my head is like a representation. It's like a graphic representation of that person. The information contained in that photo can be considered no different than a specific sine wave or a shape of a sine wave or a signal, an identifying signal for that person. So by visualizing that person's face in my mind, I can connect to that actual person. And that when I say that, that means I can connect to that person from across time and space. Okay, that means there is no distance, there is no time, because this is faster than the speed of light, this is scalar, this is instant, and there is no time involved. Okay, so this is very, very important. So that's distance healing. We use image visualization to connect to the person that we're working on through using Reiki. That's key step number one. Okay, one of the other reasons why visualization is so important is because when you are trying to heal someone and you are trying to treat a specific ailment per se, and I'll give you an example. One time I was working on a guy who was in Turkey. He was living in the country of Turkey, which is probably, I don't know, many, many thousands of miles away. It's on the other side of the earth from here. And he's just a guy I was doing an interview with, and after the interview, he casually mentioned that he was having a really excruciating, painful back issues. And I said, oh, well, here, let me see if I can do something for you. So I sat down and I did my Reiki, and I'll explain what I do when I do it. But basically, during the process, I imagined his spine in my head, And this is what I could see. This is the image that I could see in my mind. I saw a spine, okay? And as I was doing my work, as I was doing my thoughts and praying for this person's healing, I could see the spine stretch ever so slightly. And it wasn't really that I could see it stretch, but what happened was I actually heard it go pop, 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 as if like cracking knuckles, as if every vertebrae or every disc on that spine suddenly became adjusted, almost as if you were using a chiropractor, somebody giving you an adjustment. But I could actually visualize that spine going through this, and I actually could hear in my head every vertebrae and every disc from the top to the bottom going pop, 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 and adjusting itself. And as soon as I heard that, I knew that I was done and that this guy was fixed. And I was on the phone with him. We were using Skype, of course, and I contacted him and I said, hey, I think you're fixed. I think it's better. And he said, yeah. He said, the pain is gone. He said, I feel 100% better. And that's was as real as you can get. All right. The next day he calls me up and he says, the pain is still gone. My back is still better. I mean, this guy had to call me back the next day and tell me that it was still working. Okay, this is not a fluke. It really works. The first time, before I even became a Reiki master, the first time I worked on somebody, I fixed somebody. They had a broken toe. They kicked a rock. They were at the beach and they kicked a rock and they broke one of their little toes. And I didn't even touch the foot, but I held my hands close and I heard the toe go pop. And it had popped itself back into place, and that person was able to walk away. And they were not able to walk. So this is incredibly powerful. My producer, Terry Joyce. Terry, come on, I want you to tell everybody about your jaw.
Yeah, well, I had an infection back in around one of my teeth, and it was really bad. I mean, it was swelling, and there was a throb to it, and it was at a point where, I would have gone to the doctor. I probably needed to have antibiotics, and you worked on it with your hands and moved the energy a couple of days, more than one day, and I'm fine now.
Anyway, but you said that the pain went away pretty quickly. It diminished relatively quickly, right?
It alleviated both. Anytime that you worked on it, it loosened it up and it alleviated it, and I had a release of pain, and the swelling would go down. Then it persisted for a while, and then I kept working on it. Then of course doing all the other things that you do with your teeth and everything, and then I also did some work with Karen McDonald on her radionics as well. All right, I want to go into that.
Stop. Okay, stop. Sorry, Karen. Anyway, all right. I just want to tell the people is that when the visualization process is that when I was doing this, basically, all right, what I saw in my mind as I was doing this was a tooth that was black and it had like black crap all over it. And as I was moving the energy out of my hand, to me, the image that I was seeing was like the black was being washed away. Okay, the black it was like whatever the blackness was on the tooth, it was like washing away, and it was rinsing down towards the gum and outward. And it wasn't until I saw all of the blackness pretty much go. It's almost as if you're spraying water on something covered with mud, and it's almost completely clean, but there's just a little bit, just still kind of lingering bits. They're still kind of rinsing away. That's what I could see, and as I saw the last of the blackness start to wash away, that's when the pain went away, and that's when I knew that I think I had pretty much was done, because it's like I did it a couple times, and the first time it made the pain go away, but I stopped. Okay, I had to go back and do it again, but this time I kept doing it until it was done, and then it seemed like after that it was a hell of a lot better.
Oh yeah, it was much better.
Okay. And all right. Well, okay. Well, the point is the visualization. All right. That's why I'm trying to educate people on this concept of visualization, because you've got to be able to see this stuff in your head. Okay. Now, if you can't do that, that's something you got to work on. But that is so important to all this stuff. Now I know Max has said that he wanted to call in here. And I remember one time I was doing some energy work with him a while back, and we were doing the same thing, but I was visualizing the energy, and it was in a circular. I could see a spinning energy, and that's kind of interesting. If he comes on, we can talk about that. But okay, now the thing.
He
All
is
right,
going
the
to
thing
call
with
in.
the radionics. Okay, all right. There's nothing against radionics. I think radionics is a great technology. It's obviously scalar. It's using is basically manipulating reality using technology that is essentially scalar in nature. But what I need to say is that those of us that are trying to develop your psychic skills, your Reiki energy and your Jedi powers, you gotta understand is that Jedi don't use machines. Okay, we use our heads, we use our brains, we use our soul and our spirit and our God-given gifts. God didn't give us a radionics machine. God gave us a brain. Okay, so it's like using a calculator to do math. If you're always using a calculator to do math, you're never going to be able to do it in your head. But if you do all your addition and everything in your head, you're going to get pretty damn powerful, and your human computer is going to be able to do things that you can't do on a calculator. And that's just the way it is. The same thing applies to psychic skills. All right. So now it's also something that we should look at, and that is the dark side. We do these programs and we train people to do these things because we want to be Jedi, because Jedi fight the dark side. This is why we're here. This is why I'm on the radio. This is why I do what I do, because I am fighting against the dark side. What is the dark side? Call it what you want. Evil, Satan, whatever. It's the dark side. It's the negative, less than loving entities that rule the earth, and we are fighting them, and we are taking control, and we are going to take over, and we will win, and it's going to happen very soon. But Jedis don't use machines. All right. So now, if you have access to somebody that has this sort of technology, there's nothing wrong with it. Use it. It's great. It's certainly helpful, and it does work. But if you want to develop your human potential, you need to use your brains, and you need to use your body, and you need to not depend on technology to do this. Now, I should point out that those of us on the side of the light, if you will, the light warriors, we don't use machines. Okay, we get downloads, we get spiritual energy, we get downloads, we use our psychic skills, and we can do incredible power. We have incredible powers of manifestation just by using our brains. Now, the dark side are very human. They do not have these skills. For instance, the U.S. government, which of course has a treaty with since Roswell with the negative entities, otherwise referred to as aliens, they are using alien technology to do all sorts of things, everything from accessing the Akashic records to time travel to phase shifting to you name it. There's all sorts of incredible alien technology that the Earth humans have access to as a result of Roswell. And the bottom line is that is all dark side energy. Okay, when the NSA or the CIA or the Bilderbergers or any of these bastards are utilizing their jump chairs or their alien gifted technology to do with their MK Ultra mind control and this kind of thing, everything that they do, all the crap that they do, they are using technology. Those of us on the opposite side of the spectrum, those of us that are fighting the dark side, we don't need machines because we have gifts, and that is what makes us better than them. And this is why the human being is so special and so important in the universe, because the human being is a godlike creature. We are in the image of God. It is very true. And all of these entities that think that they are superior to us, they are not. Even angels come second to humans. Angels were there to serve humans. Humans are the children of the Creator. The angels are there to serve us and to serve the Creator, and they, if anything, they're jealous of the humans. I mean, obviously, you look at the story of Lucifer and what have you. He wanted to experience physical reality. He was jealous of the humans, and the rest is history. But bottom line is that we are incredibly powerful, and we need to wake up and we need to realize that we are incredibly powerful. And what is it that gives us this power? It's love. It's love energy. Love energy is the opposite of the dark side. The dark side works on less than loving energy, hateful energy, dark energy. The good guys, the side of light, is all about love. It's about unconditional love and compassion and selflessness and sharing, service to others. This is the secret of the universe. The universe, as I said so many times, is divided right down the middle. One side is service to others, and one side is service to self. The earth right now is ruled by service to self entities, and it is changing. Our reality is shifting to a service to others reality. And not everybody will move into this next reality. Those people who are selfish and greedy and programmed to always only think of themselves and constantly only serve themselves, they are gravity users, and which means that they are as heavy as crap, and they are stuck on this earth. They are like lead weights. They are stuck here. They are firmly planted into the soil because of their service to self. They are not going anywhere. Those of us that are devoting their lives to service to others, we don't have that problem. We are gravity givers. We are becoming more spiritual. We are becoming more ethereal. We are floating. We are leaving this planet. All right? A lot of people think that the Van Allen belts that surround the Earth, the energy fields surrounding the Earth, they think that this is a prison planet and that we cannot ever leave this planet because our souls are being held captive by this energy field surrounding the Earth, this magnetic field that we refer to as the Van Allen belt. Well, in my opinion, I believe that the Van Allen belt is only there to keep the service to self entities inside. I believe that when you have devoted your life to service to others, you become elevated, you release the gravity, and you are able to leave this reality. And that's what I'm looking forward to. So the sooner we can get out of here, the better. Some of us are only here for this period. We are not going to be going through massive amounts of reincarnation. We are here strictly to help everybody else get through this transition and to try to help as many people as possible get through transition. And how do we do that? We do that by teaching them to serve others. All right? That is the number one rule of the universe, is serve others more than you serve yourself, at least 51% or more. And what better way to serve others than to heal them? All right. Okay. So, again, in order to become a Jedi, or if you will, a light warrior, what you will, you've got to want to do this. You've got to want to devote your life to this. You have to ask for it. This is prayer. You know, when you're sitting there and you're communicating with the Creator, and you're using your mind to communicate and to give your intention of your desire to help the world and to serve your fellow humans, you actually have to ask permission, and that is a prayer. When you are actually healing somebody, you are praying over them. That is what you're doing. When you ask for the power to heal, and you ask to please give relief to the person that you're working on, you're not asking God to give you power to make you powerful. You are asking God to do the work. You are just there to do the asking and to direct the intention to the person. All right? So you're not special. You could be the most gifted healer in the world, but it's not you. It's the power comes from the source, from Creator. And I should mention to people, and I'm going to do this really quick because this is something that we covered last week, but I want to say it again. and this is for all the people listening out there that are Christian and might think that this is not a good thing because somehow this is pagan and Eastern and not of Christ. This is very much of Christ, okay, very much. And if we could go ahead and quote Jesus, or as John says he will be quoting Jesus in John 14:12, he quotes Jesus as saying, quote, "I tell you the truth, anyone who has faith in me will do what I have been doing. He will do even greater things than these because I go to the Father." Okay? Now we know that when Jesus healed people, he laid his hands on them. Okay? That is exactly what we are doing. There is no difference whatsoever. Okay? So this is Christian. We are doing God's work, if you will. We are carrying on in the ways of Jesus. And that is not elevating us up to that point. We are doing it for him. We're and this is something we all must remember. Satan does not heal people. Satan has never healed someone. Satan has never raised anyone from the dead. Satan does not care. Satan revels in destruction and the taking of blood and life, all life. Okay? Anything that is anti-creation turns on Satan. All right? So remember that, because when you look at religions that practice sacrifice, they chop up animals, they burn animals, they have blood offerings, they do any of that crap, human offerings, whatever, animals. I don't care if it's an image or a symbol that they are sacrificing symbolically. It is destruction of creation, and only Satan wants that. So when you see a blood offering or a so-called Holocaust, it is a blood offering to Satan, because only Satan wants blood. The Creator does not enjoy seeing creation destroyed. The Creator does not want that. So this is very, very important. Now that I've got myself off on a complete tangent, all right, let's see. I talked about auras. Now, okay, let me talk about the aura a little bit. Okay, now as I mentioned, when you're doing healing with your hands, and you've got a person laying there on the table, they have an energy field that surrounds them. Okay, and your aura, your energy field, it can have garbage. It can have crap in it. It can be polluted. You use Reiki. You use your hands in Reiki very much like you would use a skimmer or a filter in a pool. Let's say, I don't know if you guys, swimming pool, you got a bunch of leaves floating in the pool. You take your little net and you scoop out the leaves and you kind of screen off the leaves and you kind of remove them from the water to sort of clean it. You filter it. This is the same thing that we do when we use our hands in Reiki on an aura, is we will actually move our hands from the top of the head down through the body, using different movements, usually circular or up and down movements. And what this is actually doing is this is acting like a rake or a screen, and it is actually removing the garbage from the aura. Now what we do is we sort of drag our hands or scrape our hands from the head to the toe, and then we take that crap or that bad chi or that dirt that we've filtered out of the aura, and we throw it onto the ground. All right? Seriously, we take our hands and we throw them onto the ground. We whatever we gathered up on our hands, we throw it. Now, be very careful when you do that. You don't throw it at somebody. If you have people standing around the person you're treating and they're down at the people's feet and you're doing this, you don't throw the bad chi at the humans. No, you tell them to get out of the way. Throw it away from them. If possible, throw it outside. What I like to do is I will take a bowl of water and I will put it at the foot of the table, right below the person. And then as I'm dragging my hands over the person, and I'm not touching them as I'm doing this, but as I am actually using my fingers to filter the crap out of their aura, I'm throwing it into the bowl of water. Now, why? Water is a chi superconductor. Now, as we discussed many, many times on this show, when we talked about Victor Schauberger and energy water and Wilhelm Reich and what have you, we discussed the concept of living water having a hydrogen completely hydrogen bonds. All of the hydrogen bonds have been connected from each H2O molecule in the water, which causes the water to form a tetrahedral structure, which is the exact same thing as a quartz crystal. So by activating your water and causing the hydrogen atoms to bond with the oxygen atoms and to cause the water to form into its natural tetrahedral structure, you are turning it into a crystal, which makes it a chi superconductor. So when you throw the bad chi into the water, you will actually see the water move. Now, when I do this, I actually see the water move. When I mean, I'm not talking because of air or because of a hand movement or whatever. It's actually like something's actually coming off my hands and hitting the water. I've actually seen the water move when I do this. Okay. Obviously, when you're doing that, you dump the water out down the drain, down the toilet. Don't feed it to your plants. Don't drink it. Don't give it to your animals. It's got a bunch of crap in it. Get rid of it. Okay. Get rid of it. And another reason this reminds me of something else. When you are having physical issues, mental issues, or spiritual issues, one of the best ways to cleanse yourself is in a bath. Now, obviously, the water has the ability to have a crystalline structure, so it certainly has the capability of holding all sorts of chi energy, especially if you're trying to get rid of negative energy. You can let it soak into the water and then you drain the water out. But typically what you do in a situation like that is you add salt to the water. Why do we do that? Because salt is a crystal. Crystals will absorb the negative energy, just the same way as a quartz crystal is when we use healing. People like to use Dead Sea salt, Epsom salts, whatever. Just put a bunch of salt in the water. Sit there as long as you can. I know it's hard because the water will get cold. I tell people to try to sit there as long as up to 40 minutes if it's possible, because it does take that long to actually cleanse the body. But that's a great way of doing it. Okay. So, all right. So we've cleansed auras. We've talked about using saltwater bath. Let's see what else. Okay. Now, remember when I said when energy goes in one direction, information travels in the opposite direction. Okay. Now, so for instance, when you have that person laying on your table and you are running your hands over their body, a few inches, you're not touching them, but you're kind of moving your hands over every area of their body, just elevated, so many inches above the body, you are going to feel things. You will feel differences either magnetically or thermally, which means is that as you run your hand over the body, you might come into an area where it feels a little different magnetically, or it might feel a little warm or a little cold. It feels different, something different about that spot. You have located something. What is it that you are feeling? You are feeling information. The body, as you are holding your hands over the person, the energy is actually coming out of your hands and going into the body. And as I told you, when energy goes in one direction, information goes the opposite direction. So as your hand is passing over the body, and as the energy goes into an area that requires attention, that area will actually send out a signal, which is actually information, and it will actually tell you that you have found a spot that needs to be worked on. And I'll tell you, this is extremely powerful stuff and very effective. I was working on one of my buddies, one of the hosts here at the network, Dr. John Elias, and he was going in for some very serious surgery. And he came over to my house a couple of times prior to the surgery, and I worked on him and I treated him. And he had an issue on his back, somewhere by his spine. And every time I worked on him, I could zero right onto that little spot, and I could focus my energy and work on that little spot. And I'm not just sending energy, but I'm actually rubbing it. I'm pushing on it with my thumbs and trying to massage that spot. That's actually, there's a name for that. It's not reflexology, but I believe they call it acupressure. Yeah, that's a whole other healing modality, but that's called acupressure. But the point is that he told me, and I remember I did this to him more than one time, but he told me that it was amazing how quickly I could locate that spot on his body, because he said that when he goes to the doctor and he complains and says he's got that pain, they can't find it. They put him on MRIs, they do all this, use all this technology, and yet they can't locate that spot. And I could sit there with my hand and like, boom, there it is, every single time. And I actually went, and he told me to take a marker, a black marker, a pen, and draw a circle around that spot. So the next time he went to the doctor, he could say, treat this area right here. This is where it hurts. So there you go. There's another example of how Reiki can assist modern medicine. Okay, Max has joined us. Hey, Max, what's up?
I want to thank you, Stephen D. Kelley, for helping me out with my mother. My mother was in a critical stage, and with your gift and your abilities, it helped me get there just in time. She had like 3 days. Doctors told the family that she was going to be less than 3 days of life. And because of your help, and Wally, my friend out there, and his group prayed and all that, we were able all to save my mother. So I want to thank you for that, for the gift that you have, that it truly works. Okay?
Thanks for that. I'm glad your mother's okay. I really thought she wanted to go home, but I guess she decided to stick around, huh?
My mother's very tough, especially where she comes from. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I wanted to ask you, I can see that you got a lot of light around you, my brother. I want to tell you, what's going on? Why is it taking so long for all the people that keep talking about all the different things about freeing the planet, because it's enslaved and prison planet's what it is? When is something gonna actually happen? That's what my question is. Because we are many people of the planet, that we are many awakened. Okay, if we can use our abilities that we have, not to create it, because we don't need creation. We have it already inside of our bodies. Okay, why don't we manifest together, all of us on the planet, a light of spectrum, like you said a little earlier, to be spread all over the planet, because the dark forces, the dark beings that are in control of this planet, not totally anymore, but probably about 55% to 60%, because they cannot live in the word of love. There's just no way they can live in there. When they see the word love and the energy of love coming to them, they back off. What is it we can do together, all of us together on the planet, to do some kind of change where we can awaken everybody else? That's my question.
All right. Well, this is the thing, Max. As you know, this is very difficult. And when we did the first show, the first one of this series, some of the people called up and they said that what we're talking about is very, very difficult in this paradigm, because we're in a material world, a three-dimensional world that requires having to work hard to pay for everything and to eat and everything else just to survive. And we're convinced that we have to do that. But we've also become consumers, okay? And this is the thing, is we've got to get out of this consumer mentality. We all have to essentially become monks. If you look at a Shaolin priest or something of this nature, like Buddha, we want to be like Buddha. We want to be like Christ, okay? This is a perfect example. And how do we do that? Buddha was wealthy. He gave up everything. Believe it or not, Christ was also wealthy. He gave up everything. You think, oh yeah, Christ was a carpenter. People think, oh, carpenter, big deal. Well, you know what? Back in 2,000 years ago, being a carpenter was a very valuable trade. They made a lot of money, okay? That was a very valuable trade. When Jesus was crucified, the Roman soldiers gambled over who would get his clothing. They didn't do that because they were rags. They did it because it was the clothing of a wealthy person. Okay? Christ dressed really well. You look at these robes and whatnot, you think, oh, well, what's the big deal? Well, you know what? back in those days, that was not cheap. Okay? You know, Christ was completely dependent on the, you know, donations and charity, much like I am, but that's what you have to do. In other words, if you want to, obviously, we want to become 51% or more service to others. That is the only rule. That is rule number one. And in America and in our Western society that is so bent on consumption and purchasing goods and living well and all of these sort of things, getting more toys before you die, that is a complete opposite of what we should be doing. Obviously, that doesn't sound like a lot of fun, but that's what you need to do. If you want to be a Jedi, you've got to practically become a monk. And I'm not saying you have to be celibate or anything like that, but the thing is that your possessions cannot own you. You've got to let it go. You've got to forget about the past. Whoever screwed you over in the past, it's over. Forget about it. It's gone. What's going on today? No stress. Just relax and be calm. The future, you're worried about paying your bills, your mortgage, you're getting sick and dying, all these things. Forget it. It doesn't matter. If you want to be spiritual and you want to move forward, you got to forget about all that stuff, and you got to go with the flow, and you have to know that this is temporary and that we have something much better to look forward to. And the quicker that we adopt a service to others lifestyle, the sooner we are going to reach that salvation and that nirvana and that heaven on earth that we want. And to answer your question, Max, that's what people have to do. And that you love your car, you love your home, you love your possessions. All right, fine. But it's like Christ said, it's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the gates of heaven. It's the way it is. I'm not telling you to give away everything, but you can't let those possessions own you. And they are an anchor. If you've got a house full of possessions, you're screwed, because every day you worry about somebody breaking in and stealing your stuff. You know what? If you're worried about somebody stealing your stuff, you're never going to be a Jedi. All right? Because when that happens, when somebody does steal your stuff, so what? It's gone. It's no big deal. It's over. That's how you know you're there. Is you could lose everything and not get upset. People can rip you off left and right, and you don't care. You still love them. That's what it's going to take. And if that sounds impossible, I didn't say it was going to be easy, but that's why Jedis are rare and far and few. And, we can all endeavor to try to get there, but, we're going to be lucky if we can get at least 51% service to others. We're never going to get perfect. You're never going to be a Buddha. You're never going to be a Christ, but you can get close, and you can try to get close, and that's what we have to do.
Absolutely.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. But I want to tell you, I'm a Jedi, and I'm ready for my general to tell me to go out to war. And I believe you're that general.
Yeah, well, we're not gonna. We don't fight against flesh and blood. We fight against evil spirits and evil entities. And I got to remind everybody that this is why we are doing this. This is why we do the Jedi training, because this is not about guns. It's not about ammo. We are not going to get your AR-15 and a bunch of ammo and body armor and go march on Washington. No, you want to change it. You want to fight the dark side. You got to remember, these humans, these politicians in Washington, they worship Satan. Okay, they're not just a bunch of humans doing a bunch of criminal activity. These are Satanists, and they have very, very powerful dark forces behind them. So if you want to fight those humans and you want to fight that evil, you don't fight the humans. You fight the dark energy behind the humans, and that is why we do what we are doing, because the light workers and Jedis are fighting the force, the dark energy, the dark side. It is not fellow humans. We love our fellow humans. We don't kill our fellow humans because they're corrupt. We love them, and we fight against the dark side. So that is so tough for people to understand, but this is why we're doing this.
Steven,
yeah.
I want to add one thing is that a lot of the entities out there that are watching us right now, what we're doing, they're not doing anything to help us now. because we need to start something on the inside. And you're right, it has to be done with love. It cannot be done with any weapons of any time, because our weapon is the word of love, and love will what conquers the planet.
No,
And
that's true.
That's all we have to do is stay in the peace, the love, and the harmony, and
Yeah.
we will conquer and defeat them.
Our love is actually poison to these dark entities. You know, if you want to kill a dark entity, and again, that sounds very negative, but if you want a dark entity to go away, you want to delete it, you do it with love energy. And I know that sounds really hard. You know, it's like the Queen of England. How could anybody have any love for that? But you know what? The hate makes them stronger. So you got to get over that. You cannot have negative energy, negative emotions in your body and be able to move chi. You cannot be a Jedi. You cannot move chi. You cannot move your human energy if you harbor hate, animosity, negative energy. Negative energy is called loosh, Loosh. It's negative human emotional psychic energy is called loosh. Loosh is actually food for the dark side. Negative entities require loosh to survive. And that is because higher density entities, that means the entities that are on the physical level just above us, the reality just above us, and I'm not talking dimension. This is not a dimension. This is a density. There are many levels of density, and you have to understand this if you're going to understand the way the universe works. But the entities, which we refer to as aliens or reptoids or what have you, they occupy a higher level of reality, which was referred to as the fourth density. We are in the third density. A fourth density entity is 50% spiritual and 50% physical. We are a very tiny percentage of spiritual and mostly physical. All right? We're just elevated above the animals and the rocks. But when you compare us to aliens and advanced entities, we're way behind because we don't have those spiritual gifts. So if we want to be on par with these advanced entities, we do that through the development of our spiritual gifts. And as I said, these negative entities, because they are 50% spiritual and 50% physical, that means that 50% of their nutrition must be physical, which is human blood product, and the other half of their nutrition is spiritual, which is loosh, or human emotional psychic energy. They harvest our hate, they harvest our fear, all of those negative emotions. They love it, they harvest it, they actually bottle it and ship it all over the universe. We are like cows to them. Our negative energy is like milk, and they milk us for it, and they ship it all over the place, believe it or not. So if you don't want to be part of that, stop hating, stop having negative emotion. You've got to be positive all the time, have nothing but love for everybody, and do not attach your emotion to any physical, mental issue. Okay? So in other words, when you receive information, this is very important. As an observer, in order to become enlightened, you must become an observer. And as an observer, you must be able to process information without allowing your emotions to get involved. That means if you are aware of negative activity, human activity, say like, for instance, you hate Israel because of their persecution of the Palestinians, well, guess what? You're going to stop your chi flow. You have to love the Israeli Defense Forces just as much as you love the Palestinians that they are persecuting. And that is the nature of what we're doing. All right, let's see. How much time we almost got through the whole show. We're down the last 10 minutes. If anybody wants to call in, this is your last chance to do it. All right, because the show's almost over. But if you want to call in right now to say hi, it's 347-688-2902. I want to remind everybody this is the Stephen D. Kelley Show on Revolution Radio, www.freedomslips.com. Please consider helping us out and donating something. Go to our site support button on the left side of our page at www.freedomslips.com and use your PayPal, your credit card, whatever. Give us a couple bucks. It all helps, okay? And remember, we're not getting paid. The hosts don't get paid, all right? but you're supporting the network basically supports Nighthawk, and by supporting Nighthawk, you allow him to maintain the equipment and to keep the station alive and to keep us to keep this venue wide open. So thanks to him for doing that, and thanks to you for helping us stay on the air. I also want to mention, if you want to help me directly, Stephen Kelley, and I know some of these people don't like this, but I'm going to do it anyway. But if you want to help me directly, I do have a PayPal, and it's my name, Stephen Kelley, and it's my whole name. It's not Steve Kelley. It's not Stephen D. Kelley. It's Stephen Kelley, StevenKelley 714 at gmail.com. That's Stephen Kelley 714 at gmail.com. That is the PayPal. If you want to donate a couple bucks to me, I would appreciate it. I do also have a book. The book is Cities Under the Plane. It's my life story, but it tells you how I got to where I am, and it tells you all about the secret installation underneath the Getty Museum out here in Los Angeles. If you want that, it's on Amazon. It's called Cities Under the Plane. It's about $6.99, of course. And if you don't have Kindle, you can download a program. You can read it on your computer. But eventually, I hope I'll get it out in hard copy. But right now, it's only available on digital, on Kindle. So if you want to help me out, go buy one of those books and give me a good review. Okay, if everybody that bought one of those books gave me a good review, Amazon would actually start promoting it, and who knows, I might actually start making a couple bucks, and I wouldn't be living in poverty. But I don't care if I'm living in poverty; it's all good. Okay, as long as I can be on the air, it's all good. Oh, we got another caller, real quick. 352. Who's this?
This is Doc Who.
Hey, Doc Who. What's up?
I just want to say it was a good show and say hi to Max and you.
Yeah, all right. Well, thanks for calling. You don't even want to say hi to Terry?
Is Terry there?
Of course she's here. Well, he's not on Skype. If he was on Skype, he'd know you were here. But
I don't think he knew I was here, so I was quiet. Hi, Dr.
Anyway.
Who.
All right. Well, Doc Who, I appreciate you calling in. I'm glad you're enjoying the show. I don't know what I'm going to do next week. I mean, obviously, I can continue doing more Reiki. There's more stuff. I don't want to be redundant, but if you guys like what I'm doing, please give me some feedback. Send me an email to law17gun@aol.com. Tell me what you think. Join my Facebook page. Tell me what you think. I kind of want to get back into talking about the warfare going on with the Russia and Ukraine and all that stuff, but This energy work is pretty important, and I hope you people are enjoying it.
Yeah, it is.
Anybody learn anything tonight? All right, listen, everybody. Here's your homework. Do the hand exercises I described. Focus. I want everybody to take. Do it to yourself. Do it to your friends. Test everybody's magnetic field. Practice your breathing exercises. Remember, men, you push out of your left hand. Women, you push out of your right hand. Okay. And that's what I recommend. So do that. And you use this on your pets. You use this on your children. You have. Let's say you have children. They're acting up. Do a little choku-rei on them. Like I told you, do those little hand signs. Lay your hands on them. Send some energy. Calm them down. It works great. Give them a little foot massage. You want to send energy into the body? Do it through the feet. From your hands into the feet, up into the body. Energy is intelligent. It knows where to go. Okay? You don't have to do everything. There's so much we could talk about. Max, when I was working on your mom, it was distance healing. If we do this next week, we'll talk about distance healing. Okay?
Okay, great. That'd be awesome.
That'd be great. But before the show's over, I want everybody, if you can, go get that book. Buy my book too, obviously. But if you want to learn about the Reiki, get the Reiki for Dummies. Get those signs in front of you. We'll talk about the symbols, but the first symbol, of course, is the choku-rei. Learn about that. We'll talk about the distance, sending energy through the distance symbols. That is the Hansha-Zei Shonen. We'll talk about that. That's a whole other symbol. It's a little more complex. There's another symbol called the Seihei Ki. That's used for primarily emotional work. If you're trying to work on somebody who's having emotional issues. There's one more symbol. This is the last primary symbol, and it's called the master symbol, or the daikemyo. And we use that symbol to give strength and what have you. I use that usually when people are having problems with other people and they need to overcome issues like that. I'll give them the master strength, and that will it's pretty darn effective. But typically when I'm doing distance healing, I'll start with a choku-rei. I do that 3 times. I draw it with my fingers, then I say choku-rei. I then do the distance sign, which is the say. Let me see. Oh, not the Seihei key, but that's the. Oh God, I don't even. Never mind. But anyway, you do the Choku-rei, then you do the distance, then you do the Choku-rei again, and that's it. It only takes a couple of minutes, and it's instantaneous. And as long as you are sending out the intentions for healing, that's all you got to do, and you can heal people across the other side of the world, and it works. Oh, okay. Let me see. Terry's saying, "Oh, Max, yes, Epoch Radio. I am starting another radio station. I will continue to be on Revolution Radio, and I want you to continue to support Epoch or Revolution Radio. But we are going to have another radio station coming up eventually. It's taking a little longer than I wanted because there's a learning curve with the software, and that's where we're at right now. But we are looking for donations to Epoch Radio, and you can contact me about that. Max has a show." I don't know, Max. You're on another network. I'm not going to mention them right now, but of course,
I'm not going to mention either because it's
yeah.
not
All right.
fair, but
Next time. All right.
I do have a show.
Right. And Terry has a show, but it's Friday and Saturday, so you got to wait all week for that. But if you join the Revolution Radio Facebook page, you'll know about when these shows are on and what they're going to be about. So if and again, if you're afraid of Facebook, don't be afraid. Just join it because it's a double-edged sword. It works both ways. Okay, it makes you strong. Yeah, sure, they use it against you, but so what? We use it against them. Okay, so up until the day when the government takes away our internet, we're going to use it. Okay, and when everything goes to hell, what do you think is going to happen? The first thing they're going to do is they're going to kill the internet. So don't be afraid of Facebook. Don't be afraid of standing up and raising your head up and saying your truth, because that's what we're all here for. And I'll tell you something else. Do not be afraid of death, and do not be afraid of losing, and do not be afraid of anything, because fear is one of the biggest louche things that you can do. So if you want to be a Jedi, you cannot have fear at all. You can't have fear. The first thing you got to get over with is fear of pain and fear of death. And fear of loss. You think that you're going to lose your job because of you're saying your truth? Well, then you better get a new job. You're afraid you're going to lose all your possessions because somebody's going to take away all your money because you're standing up to the evil forces. Tough. Okay, that's what happens when you're in this battle. All right. I'll tell you something else. If you want to listen to the people out there that are speaking in their truth, the biggest rule of thumb for discerning who has got the truth and who doesn't is where their money is. All right. If you're an Alex Jones and you're getting paid the big buku bucks to sit there on the radio and spread fear porn, you're not a Jedi. Okay? Jedis don't spread fear porn. And if I'm going to spread fear porn, I'm going to talk about negative stuff like Jade Helm or something like that. I'm going to turn right around and I'm going to give you the tools to fight back. And I'm not going to talk about guns. I'm going to talk about spiritual energy. So this is why we're doing what we're doing, because we are revolutionaries. We are fighting against evil. And by learning to become service to others and by practicing our skills and becoming able to move energy, we are becoming magic and we are becoming extremely powerful individuals. And that is the secret to winning this war, is because we are going to wake up one day and we are going to have immense power and we're going to win the war, and we are winning, and it is over, and they know it. So keep the fight and keep the faith. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for listening. That's it. Good night, Max. Good night, Terry. Adios. Goodbye.